Blah 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 blah. Blah blah. Blah blah. Hello everybody. Hello. We're playing a boys love game today. Woo-woo. The boys are getting smoochy style now. This game is in historical Japan, in Kyoto. And it has the two main characters. One is from a rich family and one is a thief. So it's very forbidden love-esque. Very fun. Haru was running through a forest. The night was dark and the sky overhead was full of stars. The full round moon watched over him as he ran, an impartial and motionless witness to the night's horrors. Haru could feel his heart hammering, fit to burst in the base of his throat, as though it meant to escape from his body. His chest, meanwhile, was heaving. Every single footstep was agony. It felt like he was running on knives. He didn't want to keep running. It was painful, and pain was something he had always tried to avoid. He wished that he was back at home, safe and sound. But Haru knew that his family would not want him back. They had betrayed him. There was nobody left he could rely on. If he wanted to live, and he did, then he had no choice but to push himself. If running was all it took to keep him alive, then he would do it. He would keep going even if branches caught in his clothes and his hair and lacerated his skin. He would keep going even if the sores on his soles burst and his sandals were sullied with pus and blood. He would keep going even if his heart burst, his bones splintered and his body fell to pieces. He would keep going even if it took him years to reach safety. Don't mind me, I'm just being irritated by my webcam positioning again. It's never perfect. It's never perfect. Never. He would keep going even if it took him centuries. He was prepared to run forever if he had to. If only it would show them. They wanted him to die, which was why he refused to do it. He would keep running. He had to keep running. But though his determination was unwavering, his body was not so indomitable. He was beginning to feel lightheaded. The trees about him began to swim. Haru staggered onwards stubbornly, not wanting to admit defeat. But he was so disoriented he scarcely knew where he was going. He felt something ensnare his right foot. Then he fell. He fell endlessly and indefinitely, unable even to scream. His lungs had collapsed. His heart had exploded. His mind tore itself to shreds. And then everything went black. Where was his home? Where was he? Would anybody come and rescue him? It seemed unlikely. He was all alone. He was trapped. He was... Young master! He was... Young master! He was... Wake up, young master! The sun is already well above the horizon. You wouldn't want to waste this lovely sunny day in bed, would you? Ugh, what? Haru frowned, only seemingly cognizant of his surroundings. Just give me a few more minutes. I'm still sleepy. Well, I can see that. You've not made much of an effort to get up, young master. You're always like this in the mornings. But you really can't stay in bed all day. Think about what your mother would say. Ugh. The mention of his mother was enough to finally rouse Haru from his stupor. Angering his mother seemed like a poor way to start his morning. Woman might have been regarded as the fairer sex, but there was nothing fair about Adashima Michiko at all. Alright, fine. Haru sat himself up with a scowl. He was sitting in his bedroom, in his family home, an aged but nonetheless well-maintained dwelling in the heart of Kyoto. The floor which lay beneath him was of tatami, and the walls were wooden. The ceiling was high, the room was spacious, and the sliding door, which led to the veranda, was open to allow the butter-yellow sunshine to spill inside. As for the woman sitting beside him, meanwhile, "You're always so grumpy in the mornings, young master. You get so sullen and sulky, it's like you've turned into a young boy again. It's too funny." Her name was Sakurako. Sakurako had worked for the Adashima family for over a decade. She was 28 now, but she was easygoing enough that she more closely resembled a teenager than she did a grown adult. Sakurako might not have been the best servant. She was clumsy, inelegant, and forgetful. But Haru had always liked her. He was rather fond of Sakurako. At least he usually was. He found it hard to be fond of anybody after waking up, however. "Why are you always so loud? You're going to give me a headache." "Well, maybe I wouldn't have to be loud if you could wake up at a sensible hour. If I wasn't here, I'd bet you'd go right on sleeping until the end of the world." "Oh, please. I don't think I'm as bad as that." "No, you're not. You're even worse. And your hair is a mess. Your mother would faint if she saw you like that." "That's her fault for insisting that I grow it so long. I wish I could cut it all off. It just gets in the way." "Oh no, young master, don't say that. Your hair is lovely. It's one of your finest assets. It's far nicer than your personality, at least. When you've just woken up, I mean." "Oh, ha ha, very funny. I could have you fired for a remark like that, you know. It isn't befitting for a servant." "You could, yes. But you wouldn't, would you? I used to look after you when you were still a child. If anybody has a right to tease you, it's me." Oh no, I've disturbed the cat. "Hello, princess. Oh no. She's left us. She's left us. She's so upset. She was so upset because I was talking excitedly and she was like, I can't stay still now." "I wish you wouldn't though, not this early in the morning. It isn't fair." "Life isn't, young master. But I only tease you because I care about you. I wouldn't do it otherwise." "You have a strange way of showing it." "I don't think it's that strange. I treat my real life brothers the same. There's real little brothers the same way, when I get the chance to see them, that is. Now come here. I've got to make you presentable. All that nice hair of yours won't brush itself." Regrettably. Haru settled himself into a more comfortable sitting position while Sakurako retrieved a lacquered. Hang on, I'm doing it again, chat. The pronunciation lookup is happening again. Pronounce. Lacquered. Lacquered? Well, that doesn't feel right, but I suppose it is right, I guess. They say it's right. Lacquered comb from his dresser. Then, in a slow, measured manner, she began to brush. This ritual was as familiar to Haru as Sakurako's energetic, overly eager wake-up calls. Every day began in much the same manner, with Sakurako shaking Haru awake, sometimes literally, then tending to his appearance. Haru might have presented himself as an elegant, refined young woman during the day, but when he was with Sakurako, he showed his true self. He didn't need to pretend around her. He could be as churlish as he wanted, and Sakurako would never scold him about it. Not seriously. Sakurako wasn't like his mother. Oh, that's so pretty! Pretty art already? Oh, spoiling me. So, young master, it might be my imagination, but your mood seems even more sour this morning than usual. It does? A little. You were also shifting about in your sleep before I woke you up. You didn't have a bad dream, did you? Haru frowned. Had he had a bad dream? He couldn't remember. Well, never mind. Dreams are just dreams at the end of the day. I don't think there's much point getting too hung up over them. Now that's funny. What is? I thought women loved divining meanings from their dreams. Don't you all adore superstitions? Some women do. I've never been interested in esoteric stuff like that, though. I think it's all too confusing. Besides, most of my dreams are too silly to pay them any attention. Last night, for example, I dreamt I was with Hideyoshi when a crow swooped down and stole the sweet bun I was holding clean out of my hands. Goodness, that sounds incredibly distressing. I'm sorry for your loss. It was distressing. It was a perfectly good sweet bun and it was a gift from Hideyoshi. I was very upset. I guess birds are untrustworthy even in dreams. I guess so. My mother says that crows are symbols of bad luck. She told me I ought to be careful if I see any of them hanging around the temple during my wedding day. She's talked about it so much she's made me paranoid. I wonder if that's what my dream was really about. The wedding? It has been weighing on me. I can imagine. Sakurako had been courting Hideyoshi for over a year. They had met by chance when Sakurako had gone shopping and it had begun to rain. Hideyoshi had appeared at Sakurako's side and asked if she wanted to share his umbrella. Sakurako and Hideyoshi had begun to talk when they had been huddled together, beneath Hideyoshi's umbrella, waiting for the rain to stop, and they had discovered that they had a fair bit in common. They both came from large families and they were both the oldest siblings. They had both been sent to work from a young age to provide for their siblings, but neither had lamented their lots in life. They were both cheerful, optimistic, and easygoing. Sakurako and Hideyoshi had remained in touch long after the rain had ceased, and Hideyoshi had folded his umbrella. They continued to see one another on a semi-regular basis, typically at the weekends. Then, almost a year into their courtship, Hideyoshi had proposed. Haru had been one of the first people to hear of this engagement. Sakurako had told him about it at the first available moment, her eyes sparkling all the while. The wedding was fixed to take place in 3 months' time, on an auspicious date which had been picked out by a fortune-teller. Sakurako might not have believed in destiny, but her mother was a different matter. She was a staunch believer in fate, though she regarded it as something malleable. Luck, or so Sakurako's mother claimed, was something a person could bend to their advantage, if only they knew how to interpret the shifting of the stars. Ever since the proposal, Sakurako had talked of little but the wedding. It seemed that she dreamed of little else but the wedding too. Haru was pleased for her, but... Sakurako. Rako. What is it, young master? I have a favour to ask of you. This should go without saying, but... Don't forget me, will you? Once you get married? Oh, Haru. Sakurako set the hairbrush to one side. Then with a gentle smile she leant forwards. She wound her arms around Haru's waist and resting her cheek on his shoulder, she said, You know I'd never do that. You might be my young master, but you mean much more to me than that. Why, you're almost like a little brother to me. I'll stop working here once I get married, but I won't forget about you. I'm not that thoughtless. I never said that you were. I just thought that I'd be too busy to pay you a visit every once in a while. Well, yes. Hideyoshi's a good man. I'm sure you'll be very happy together. You'll have children together in due time, and I doubt you'll have any time to spare me then. We aren't really related, no matter how long we've known one another. We aren't, but you still mean a lot to me. I'm not going to forget you, not even if I have a whole litter of children. I won't let you wriggle out of my clutches so you can stop all of those silly thoughts. You'll always be my dear Haru. Sakurako. Haru flushed. His eyes were beginning to feel moist when... But we still have ways to go until I get married. I'm not sure why my mother insisted on setting the date in October of all months. It's ridiculous. She spent an arm and a leg to have old lady Matsudaira tell her I can't possibly get married until the leaves have started to fall from the trees and it's all cold and miserable. I'd much rather get married in the summer, but you know what my mother's like. Stubborn? Horribly so. But maybe that's where I inherited it from. In any case, the wedding's not for a while. We still have plenty of time to spend together. You can look forward to many, many more mornings of me waking you up. But you really should try and get better at that on your own. I know, I get it. I have an idea, chat. I'm still thinking about the webcam thing. Because I don't like that when I'm reading, I look down to the right of the screen. It feels wrong. Like it feels iffy. I'm gonna try something, hang on. Okay. Let's try this today. Let's make sure the layout still looks good. Yes, it looks fine. Okay. I know, I get it. You say that, but I don't know if you do. I've never seen you wake up on your own, not in all the years I've known you. Oh, I mucked it a bit. Hang on. I think that should do it. I think I've let you rely on me a little too much. It's high time you acted more like a grown man. Now that's a funny thing to say, considering my circumstances. I don't think it's that funny. No matter how you dress, you're still my young master, not my young mistress. I won't have you giving into slovenliness. Yes, ma'am, I'll do my best. Though I think you're being a bit hypocritical. How so? Aren't you the one who keeps spacing out when you're supposed to be working because you keep thinking about your beloved Hideyoshi? My mother's warned you enough times, but it doesn't seem to stick. You're besotted with him. Well, yes, naturally. Of course I'm besotted with him. I wouldn't have agreed to marry him otherwise. This wedding really can't come soon enough. Why? So you can be rid of me? No. I was feeling sad about that actually, but I won't miss you very much if you keep being so cheeky. Oh, she's fun. I like her. I like her a lot. Sakurako, you're cute. There's no way to speak to your elders and betters, mister. I could say the same to you. You don't give me anywhere near the amount of respect that I deserve. I'll respect you more when you stop drooling in your sleep. I do not drool in my sleep. Yes, you do. I've seen you. Now let me finish with your hair. I was only half done before you distracted me. Ugh, fine. Sakurako continued to brush Haru's hair, keeping up a steady stream of conversation all the while. Her words were regular, just like falling rain, but they weren't forceful. Haru didn't care to engage with people on the whole. He tended to find human company tedious, but this wasn't the case with Sakurako. Being with her took his mind off the rest of the day at least, which stretched out in front of him, blank and empty and utterly uninteresting. Haru's days were monotonous. Each was the same as the last, with very minor differences to distinguish them. Haru's mother was fiercely overprotective of her only son. She was so very protective, in fact, that she had never let him venture much further afield than the shopping street, and even then she insisted that a servant accompany him. She dictated every aspect of Haru's life from the time he awoke to the time he slept. She even determined how Haru looked. Oh god, what a menace. She sounds insufferable. Oh. I am so fidgety today. I am so fidgety. I keep finding things that I want to alter. Like I want to move my camera again. Last time I did that, it was really like a dilemma. Oh my god, and I've hit a button. There we go. Oh, oh. What if I had a whole stream where I just struggle with my technology forever and ever? This sounds great, doesn't it? That sounds fantastic. That sounds really cool. And I bet people would love that. Oh, oh my goodness. If I sit you... What if I sit my mic here? Oh, 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 that was wobbly. What if I set it like so? It's having trouble. Hello? Why is it looking up when the mic is down? Oh, that obviously, because it's looking up at me. Duh. Physics. It's not physics. Is it physics? It might be physics. Ah. It's a damn good thing none of my mods are here to see this. Because boy howdy, I think they would have a field day. What about over here? What about... Hi Potato, you walked right in. I'm having like an impromptu tech moment. Congratulations. I decided that I wanted to move my mic. Not my mic, my camera. And it's really cool and reasonable to try and move my camera midstream. Thank you for the hydrate. Good news. It has basically ended up exactly where it was when it started. God, fucking hell. Incredible. Outstanding. The mic is the real issue. But I can't move it because it's screwed onto my desk, so I need to do that. Oh my god, it fell! You thought the fuck ghost finally got me? Oh. What? Churro? He's a ghost. No, he didn't get me. I don't think he could. Like, I don't think he has it in him. I don't think he has the power to meet me. I don't think he could meet my power. The mic is the real issue. I'm fiddling with my camera when the mic is the actual issue. I should just leave it alone. You know what I'll do? You know what I'm going to do? You know what? You know what, chat? You know what? We are going to address this right now. Hang on. Not on stream, but I'm going to address it like sort of address it, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to message my baby brother and ask him if he's free on Sunday so he can help me. Teehee. Hi, Jackie. You missed the fucking mess. Ah, thank you for the hydrate. You missed the absolute fucking mess I got myself in. Oh no, don't say I'm never a mess. Baby girl, I was totally a mess. I was trying to move my fucking camera midstream. Tell me that's not messy. Tell me that's not messy. I'm accepting the fact once again that the problem is where I put my mic. Ambitious, thanks. Thanks. Hi Jackie, I'm glad you could make it. We've barely started. Okay, chat. Officially, I have messaged my baby brother, who does all my heavy lifting for me. Because he is so nice. He's at work right now, so he won't get back to me until like evening. You're playing Magic? Oh, came in second, lost the hubby, worst things to happen. Oh, it's okay, you can get him back, baby girl. We have messaged the baby brother. Fun fact about the baby brother. He is so much taller than me. And he gets really stoic and serious. Like, he's the stoic, serious, quiet type of guy. You know, big boy, stoic, quiet. I love my baby brother. He gets too in his head sometimes. So what I do is I reach up and I really crane my arm up there. It's a real stretch these days. It is not easy. I'm a short bitch. I ruffle his hair. And I call him my baby brother. And he's always going to be a baby. And he does that little grin of him being, where he's like, I think where he's kind of like thinks I'm just like a silly person, but he likes it. He's very cute. But he gets in his own head sometimes too much, and it's just rude. Oh my god, I hit the button! Ah! Okay, recap, because that was a lot, and some of you in chat might have forgotten what we were doing in the actual story. Okay, so Haru has been woken up by his maid lady, Sakurako. They had a chat about her upcoming wedding in October, which is months away, but like, it's upcoming. It's happening this year, you know. Very exciting. She's excited for it. We're happy for her. She's a sweetheart. Haru is just talking about right now the fact that he wants to cut his hair and he wishes he could dress like a boy because his mum makes him dress like a girl. Yeah. And that's about all we've done. That's about all we've done. Oh my god. I am so distractible, baby girls. But that is not news. Oh my god, today I was doing a little bit of FF14 on my alt that has kind of become my main. And I had a YouTube going on the second monitor, right? You know, as you do. You gotta have noises. I need my noises! And the video, like, this has never happened before today, so this was like really weird. I was like, there's nothing that's happening today that should be altering this. This is funky. It was like every time I wasn't clicked on the YouTube screen, it just wouldn't, the video wouldn't move. Like, the audio would continue, but the video wouldn't move. And every time I click back onto the video screen, it would catch up to where it was supposed to be. And I was like, that's weird as fuck, what's going on? So I looked up on Reddit, as you do. That's what you do though, right? You look things up on Reddit when it's that sort of bullshit, because it's just like, that's where everyone talks about that stuff. And it turns out browsers have, hang on, let me pull up the exact words. A lot of browsers have released this update. It's not just my browser. People are saying it's happening in Chrome and all sorts of things. So what you do is you go to settings. I think it's like either like advanced or it's like, or it's something. You gotta find like graphics or like image or something, whatever it is. And there's gonna be like a box that's ticked that says advanced settings. You wanna say turn off advanced settings, and then a new box to uncheck will appear that was not there before. Right? They were hiding this because, they're like hiding it by saying, oh, we've turned on the advanced settings for you, so you don't need to know what we're doing in there. So if you turn it off, we'll show all the boxes that we've checked. And it's only one box though, right? It's hardware accelerator. Huh? My YouTube was working fine. I didn't need a browser like running update in that regard. Like, I don't need this to accelerate. Why are we doing this? So apparently that's the problem. And I had to turn that off because that was rude as fuck. Really ruining my vibe. Should we get back to reading? That's what we do here, right? In between, like, yapping. She dictated every aspect of Haru's life from the time he awoke to the time he slept. She even determined how Haru looked. Ultra YouTube? Yeah, but like, it's not very ultra if it lags every time I have a second monitor going. It's kind of like mid. It's kind of worse than basic YouTube. It was owing to his mother's insistences that Haru kept his hair as long as he did, and it was owing to her that he dressed in the garb of a woman. It was Sakurako's job to help Haru dress just as she helped him with his hair. Once she had finished smoothing out the knots and tangles in his hair, she then set to work on the morning's true challenges. Michiko had prepared an outfit for her son that day, just as she had the day before that, and the one before that. The kimono which Sakurako helped Haru into was a luxuriantly patterned thing. A rich, sumptuous red decorated with trailing vines and pink flowers. The kimono was a thing of beauty, a work of art even, but Haru still stiffened as Sakurako helped him into it. It didn't matter how gorgeous the kimono was, he had no desire to wear it. Haru knew that his life was a blessed one. He had a roof over his head and more than enough food to eat. His mother was a woman of means and even had servants to tend to him. He was not wanting for creature comforts, but still. Oh, he's completely transformed. The face Haru saw reflected in his mirror didn't look very happy. It never did. Poor bastard. There! Here's Sakurako. We love her, cherish her, adore her. I'm so happy that she's going to have a happy marriage. She deserves it, honestly. Sakurako finished tying Haru's obi into a knot, then stepped back, beaming. You look lovely, young master. I'm jealous. And what do you have to be jealous about exactly? Well, you know, I've never worn a kimono quite this nice before. I don't think I'll ever have the chance. I'm nowhere near wealthy enough. I'd buy you so many kimonos, Sakurako. I would buy you 600 kimonos. I would buy you a kimono for every day of the year. Every day of your life. I'm kidding. She's not really my wifey material, but she's so sweet. I would buy her a kimono, you know? But even if I was, I doubt it'd suit me like it does you. That's true, it's quite dark. I think you need more of a spring light feeling colour scheme, Sakurako. For a boy, you really are pretty. That doesn't make me feel any better. You know I'd be more than willing to give you this kimono if I could. I'd rather you have it, in fact. You have no reason to be jealous. I know, but Madame Adashima wouldn't like it, I'm aware. She doesn't like anything I do. I can't wait for us to meet the love interest. It's going to sweep him off his feet. He's going to have his whole world transformed. It's going to be great. I'm never grateful enough or graceful enough. I'm not remotely like a lady. Haru stared at his reflection, his lips curled. This isn't me. It's who my mother wants me to be. Haru felt constricted, not just by his attire, but by the expectations his mother had of him. He was a man, yet she was determined that he conduct himself as a maiden. It was contradictory enough to be maddening. Haru could endure the indignity of dressing as a woman at least, while Sakurako was the one who dressed and undressed him. But what would he do when she left? He would miss her horribly. Sakurako was the only person in the Arashima household who knew of Haru's real feelings and the only person who seemed to care about them. She was the only person he could confide in. Without her, he would be all alone. Oh, poor baby. Haru's day passed slowly with relatively little incident, as was often the case. Haru's mother did not approve of her only son doing much of anything unless it was conducted within the walls of the Arashima family's home. There was precious little to do outdoors, however, which could arouse Haru's interest. He didn't mind reading, but perusing the same meagre collection of books he possessed had long since wearied him. There was calligraphy, too, and needlepoint, but both of these activities were too sedentary. Though they occupied his hands, they couldn't occupy his brain. Haru tried to pass the time as best he could with inoffensive activities that his mother would approve of, but the tedium was unbearable. It was a little after lunchtime, when the sun was at its zenith in the cloudless blue sky, that Haru eventually decided that enough was enough. He had to escape. Haru rose to his feet, abandoning the book he had been perusing half-heartedly, then stepped outside into the hallway. From there he let himself out onto the veranda and surveyed the garden. The breeze tugged at his hair, which had been flat and still for much of the morning, and made it flutter about his slender shoulders. Stepping outdoors was a small act of rebellion in and of itself. The morning had been an unremarkable one, but perhaps the afternoon would be more interesting. Haru had a vague feeling that something was awaiting him on the horizon. Though what this something might have been, he did not know. Haru strode out into the garden with strides as purposeful as he could muster in his kimono. Then, from behind a hedgerow, where he had hidden it away, he withdrew a kendo sword. Ooh! Good on you, buddy! Good job! I love that. Haru had purchased the sword during a trip into the town over a year prior when Sachio's back had been turned. It was one of his most prized possessions and he cherished it. He was not permitted to bring the sword indoors, however. His mother thought it was a nasty, vulgar thing. His mother sounds like a real bore. Haru had never received any formal training when it came to kendo, but his body seemed to move instinctively when he gripped the sword. He knew from trial and error how best to stand and how to strike. These motions came easily to him. When Haru moved, the sword moved with him. It sliced through the air with a satisfying whoosh over and over again. Haru turned, the sleeves of his kimono rippling in the breeze, and thrust the sword outwards. He made sure to keep his breathing level, his gaze locked squarely onto the Zalkova tree by the pond, as he adjusted his posture. He was getting into a rhythm now, as he always did when he came outdoors to practice his footwork. The rest of the world began to melt away, taking all of Haru's unearthly concerns along with it. He no longer had to think about his mother, nor about Sakurako. He had only to think about his stance. Haru twisted, as if to sidestep the blow of an invisible enemy, then shifted his center of gravity. Once more he swung his sword. Had he been holding a real sword, he would have sliced the cherry blossom petals which drifted from the trees in two. He moved with the fluidity of a dancer, but this dance was a deadly one. If any foes had crept upon him, he would have shown them no mercy. He would never let anybody sneak up on him. Haru! Ah! Haru gasped as a sharp voice issued from behind him. His sandaled feet shifted beneath him as he turned to see who had intruded upon him, and he nearly fell. Fortunately, however, Haru's stance was firm enough to keep him upright. He did not fall, though he did teeter precariously for a few moments like a spinning top. The fingers of his right hand, meanwhile, which had been clutching his kendo sword, slackened. The sword fell from his grip and it landed upon the ground, striking the soil with a thud. Haru knew who it was who had intruded upon him even before he turned to look at them. It was his mother. Arashima Michiko was standing on the veranda, attired in a kimono which paled in comparison to the splendor of Haru's own. Her hands, which were still smooth despite her 45 years, were folded against her front, and her dark eyes were narrowed. I really wish you wouldn't do that. Haru bent wordlessly to retrieve the fallen sword, his mother's eyes boring into his back all the while. He could feel his mother glowering at him, but he didn't flinch. He was used to this. I know you dislike it, Mother, when I do anything that runs contrary to your wishes. But what else would you have me do? There are so few ways for me to spend my time, and you rarely let me go outdoors. It is all rather stifling. I think it's nice giving him a deeper voice. It feels right. It feels like... Is it weird to say that giving him a deeper voice when I speak for him... Oh, fuck, give Hina a treat. Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you, Endeavour. Oh, God, that was 3 minutes ago. Let me finish my thoughts and then I'll go do that. Giving him a deeper voice, even though I'm not very good at it, to be fair, it probably sounds still fairly high. It feels like I am reminding people that this is a man and he does not want to be this way. Like, it feels... I don't know, does that make sense to you? The viewer? Let me go give Hina her treat. She's been very good lately. She did abandon us earlier because we were making amazing talking noises, but otherwise she's great. I am back. I don't really need headphones for this. Yeah, we're going all headphones today. We're going it raw. I'm back. I found the baby. She was outside in the sun. It is all rather stifling. Michiko looked her son up and down mutely, her lips still pursed. Oh, I can hear myself. That's funny. The difference in how you hear yourself when you have headphones on versus off is very surreal. She drank in Haru's hair, which was rumpled after his training, and the neckline of his kimono, which was askew. She saw too the pink spots which had risen to his cheeks, and how heavily he was breathing. All this she observed and disseminated in less than a second with a severe frown. I fail to see why you want to go outdoors so very often. There are few activities which are suitable for a fair lady of your standing. Your time would be much better occupied inside, where I can keep an eye on you. I don't see why you need to keep an eye on me, though. I am not a child, and I am not, in case you were unaware, a lady. Yes, thank you, I know that. I am aware that you are a young man, but that is not how the rest of the world regards you. To them, you are a young lady, and I wish for you to behave as such. Ladies are not supposed to go gallivanting about outdoors, getting into mischief. And neither are they supposed to idle away their hours with kendo swords of all things. Then what pursuits would be ladylike enough to appease your dear mother? You know exactly what pursuits I consider appropriate. I will never chastise you for reading or for practicing your needlework. Playing the shamisen is a similarly worthy way to idle away the hours. At the very least, it will keep your hands busy. Haru groaned. He didn't mind reading, but sitting still for too long made his legs cramp up. And in any case, there was little fun to be gleaned from reading about others going on great adventures when he wasn't permitted to follow suit. Needlework and calligraphy, meanwhile, were activities he had always found hopelessly dull, and he had never been musically inclined, despite his mother's attempts to tutor him. Oh, the cat's back. Hello? Hi! Hello? She has returned. The gift of tweets made her came back. Hi! Oh, screaming. Do I have to pet you? Okay. There you go. Oh. Does anyone else's cats get really dry from being in the sun? Like, she gets really dry and, like, almost coarse. Like, she loves it. But she's very dry. The fur, I mean. Haru's shamisen skills were dire. He was so inept at the instrument, it was enough to make the birds in the garden squawk in alarm. Not even his mother could pretend to be pleased on the rare occasions when Haru did sit indoors at the shamisen. The noises he made were diabolical. I might look up a shamisen. I'm curious. What do they look like? Shamisen. 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 Oh, the classic. I know this one. I've seen it. I've seen this in my animes. Haru told his mother as much, and she sighed in response. You might be an adult, but you are still a child in many regards. I would have hoped that you were old enough by now to realize that life is not all about having fun. It is for the most part about hard work, and it is thankless work at that. You would do well to remember that. Otherwise, you will only find yourself disappointed. I think you've had a shit life, Miss Lady of the House, to think that way. I think your life has kind of sucked. That you believe that most things are hard work and nothing is fun very much. Like, that's concerning. There's a lot of things that are fun in life. Like, a lot. That's worrying. I tried to tell myself as much, but it seems a sad way to live. That is because life is in general a sad state of affairs. Tell that to Sakurako. At least she seems pleased with her lot in life. She would. She is still young. I'm younger than she is. And you have more responsibilities than you ought to be aware of. And now, why don't you help Sakurako in the kitchen? What could be your qualms with that? I know that the two of you get along well. You can gossip to her about me as you are so prone to doing, and she can commiserate with you. Does it not sound like an attractive prospect? Haru looked at his feet, momentarily chastened. As much as his mother grated on his nerves, part of him did feel somewhat guilty that he complained to Sakurako so frequently about her. He hadn't known that his mother was aware of his mutinous ways. There was something shameful about it. I thought that I might give Sakurako some space, actually. She was in such a good mood this morning, and I am not. I do not know if she would want to talk to me like this. Oh, of all the self-pitying nonsense, Michiko tattered. Sakurako is fond of you, Haru. Then I cannot say for the life of me why. She has always indulged you, no matter how black your moods might be. If she knew you were feeling out of sorts, she would even be more compelled to amuse you. And that's precisely why I don't want to spend time with her. I would only distract her from her duties, and then you would scold her for being slow. I see. So you would make me the villain yet again? Oh, I don't like her. Oh, I hate her. Oh, she sucks. That's really dangerous. Oh, I'm angry. I'm angry. I know that she comes from a time where life is hard, but especially for being a woman, but oh, I don't like that. I am doing no such thing. I have only told you the truth. Yes, I suppose you have. It is a well-known fact in this household, I suppose, that I cannot tolerate sloppy work. It is rather considerate of you, then, to leave Sakurako alone. But if you must mope, I wish you would not do it with a kendo sword. Then what do you suggest I do, Mother? You said that you are feeling restless? Yes, Mother. That is not an inaccurate assessment of my feelings. I see. Well, though I do wish you would learn to compose yourself, it does not sit right with me as your mother, leaving you here to languish. I do not, contrary to what you might believe, want you to suffer. So perhaps we can come to a compromise. Sachio will be going shopping soon. You could always go with her if you want to walk off some of your energy. Provided, of course, that you stay with her. Do not go running off on your own, and do not start talking to any strange men. Am I making myself plain? Oh, Mother, would you truly not mind? No, I would not mind. No, I know I would mind. I would mind a good deal. But it would appear that you have yet to grow out of your rebellious phase, despite being no longer a teenager. I had hopes that you would mellow out as you grew older, but this must have been wishful thinking. This is why boys are so difficult to rear. It would have been far easier on me. If I had been a boy and a girl, I know. I apologize for your loss. Haru, do not take that tone with me. I could very well tell Sachio to go shopping on her own. You are not owed this excursion. I'm granting it to you out of the goodness of my heart. If you had any sense of self-preservation, you would not be going out of your way to aggravate me. Yes, Mother. I understand. Haru responded meekly, his head bowed. He knew if he tried to answer back, his mother would deny him the few privileges he's possessed. Then he would feel even more trapped than ever before. Fucking hell. What a way. Now, if you stick close to me, Mistress Koharu. Madame Arashima told me to keep an eye on you, she did. I know you're a restless sort, but I'll get in trouble if you go darting off on your own. You don't want your poor, humble Sachio to get in trouble, do you? Haru sighed. This conversation was a retread of one he had experienced many times before. I'll try to behave myself, but you should know by now that I can't make any promises. I wouldn't want to make any vows that you can't keep. Yes, I know. You're really quite upstanding in that sense, young mistress. The madam really did do a good job raising you. Your sense of justice is far greater than mine was at your age. At your age, weren't you already conning men out of their hard-earned wages so you could drink yourself silly? My! How cutting of you, young mistress. Your sense of duty might be strong, but you have no idea of how one ought to address a lady. You might look like a well-bred young woman, but you certainly don't act like one. My mother often tells me that. Your mother is right. She's a wise woman, she is. You would do well to listen to her more. Says you. You're the one who always lets yourself be bribed with alcohol. It's a bad habit, you know, especially at your age. Aren't you worried about your health? I think I'm too old to worry about my health, young mistress. That ship has already sailed. My back isn't what it used to be, and I don't think my hands will ever stop shaking. But that isn't before you try and be clever because of the alcohol. The alcohol is the only thing that stops my shaking, and it numbs the pain of my poor back teeth. It's medicinal, you see. Are your teeth still causing you problems? Oh yes, young mistress, they've been bad for quite a while. But it's been almost unbearable this last month, especially during the nights. If it wasn't for my alcohol, it would be unbearable. Maybe you should get those teeth seen to. It doesn't sound healthy. And have them pulled out? Sachio stared at Haru, her expression one of utmost horror. How could you suggest such a thing, young mistress, at my age? I'd die from the shock if the blood loss doesn't carry me off first. I think you're exaggerating. Dentists are trained not to let their patients bleed to death. Haru thought his response a sound one, but he doubted whether Sachio would see the logic behind it. For such an old woman, she had always been incredibly stubborn. Or maybe she was stubborn because she was old and she had lived a long enough life that she no longer felt the need to listen to others. In any event, Haru wasn't overly interested in prolonging this discussion about Sachio's teeth. Haru walked alongside the elderly servant, keeping half an eye on her so she didn't stumble. The brunt of his attention, however, was focused internally. He couldn't stop thinking about Sakurako, or to be more precise, Sakurako's upcoming wedding. Sakurako was to get married. She would become a wife, and then she would become a mother in due course. Haru, meanwhile, had no choice but to remain shut up inside, a prisoner to his mother's whims. Even if he were to meet a nice young woman, the sort he might conceivably wish to settle down with, she would not know that he was a man, and neither would he be able to tell her. He was trapped. Though part of Haru envied Sakurako's happiness, he was glad that she'd found someone she cared about so greatly, somebody she wanted to share the rest of her life with. As one of Sakurako's closest friends, Haru thought it was his responsibility to celebrate her good fortune alongside her. He couldn't let his own negative spoil what was to be a happy occasion. So perhaps instead of sulking, he ought to buy her a present. That sounds nice. A wedding gift, that's lovely. Was that not a customary way to celebrate weddings? The thought had not occurred to Haru before, but the finely crafted trinkets on display in the window of a jeweler's made him pause. There was a large variety of pieces Haru could see, brooches, hairpins, and fine silvery necklaces whose chains glistened in the sunlight. Many of these wares looked too ostentatious for Sakurako, but Haru could see a pair of earrings which did not look too outrageously extravagant. They were made of what Haru presumed was jade, pale green and fringed with gold. The earrings were small enough to be relatively inconspicuous, but Haru imagined they would look rather fetching when worn by Sakurako. Haru loitered outside the shop for a few moments, examining these earrings, before looking at Sachio. Sachio hadn't noticed that his attention had wandered, and the old woman had already meandered off. She was halfway down the street, her bent back retreating into the distance, when Haru hurried after her. Sachio! Would you mind if we parted ways for a few moments? I've seen something rather interesting in one of these shops. And what do you mean by interesting, young mistress? We've not passed by a smithy, have we? Don't tell me you mean to get a real sword smelted now that the madame's caught on to your nasty hobby with that silly kendo sword. My hobbies are not nasty, thank you. At least they're not any more nasty than your fondness for drink. And no, I wasn't looking to buy any weapons. I'd never be able to sneak a real sword into the house. Where would I even hide it? If I tried to keep it in the garden, it would rust. I just thought instead that I would buy some jewellery. Jewellery, eh? The look of mistrust on Sachio's face deepened. Oh my god. That isn't very like you. I didn't think you were the sort who cared for pretty trinkets. You aren't trying to impress somebody, are you? Oh, please. You know full well that I don't have anyone to impress. My future prospects as far as romance goes are dismal. And even if they weren't, I wouldn't try to appeal to a future beau by wearing jewellery. That would give them entirely the wrong impression. Are you buying jewellery for a young lady you hold in high esteem yourself, then? You could say that, I suppose. I thought I might buy Sakurako a wedding present, if you have no qualms with that. A wedding present, is it? Sachio frowned. It isn't strictly proper for a young lady such as yourself to bequeath gifts to your servants. If Sakurako had any sense, she would reject your kindness. But that girl has never had much in the way of sense, and I know the pair of you are close. You're much closer than you ought to be, given the disparity in your social statuses. But... Sachio continued to hem and haw until at long last she sighed. Oh, very well. I care for Sakuraku myself, even if she is a bit clumsy. And I know that your heart is in the right place. It would feel unfair of me to stop you. If you insist on buying Sakuraku a gift, however, then you should buy me a little something too. You can't say much fairer than that. Yes, I understand. I'll buy you some gin. Though I really shouldn't. Is that enough to satisfy you, you wily old fox? Well, I would prefer to be called a vixen. But fox is fine too. Now go ahead, have your fun. I shan't stop you. Shall we meet up again in half an hour outside the haberdasher's? That sounds fine by me. I'll see you later. You too. Take care of yourself, young mistress, and remember... Don't talk to any strange men, I know. You don't need to worry about me. I'll be just fine. He was not, it turns out, fine. Haru snorted, then parted ways with the wily Sachio, retracing his steps to the jeweller's. Once there, he entered the shop and inquired about the earrings on display to the proprietor. The proprietor, an elderly man with white hair and whiskers, seemed enthusiastic about making a sale, and he let Haru haggle him down. Business must not have been booming. The shopkeeper wrapped the earrings in a brown paper bag which crinkled satisfyingly between Haru's fingers. Haru handed over his money in return, then departed, stashing the bag inside his obi for safekeeping. This purchase taken care of, Haru then set off for his next destination, namely, the liquor store. Haru hurried on, his head bowed, hoping to remain as inconspicuous as possible. Oof! But it was only moments after exiting the jeweller's that Haru felt something smack against his shoulder. Is this our boy? Is this a love interest? Is it him? Do we win already? Yippee! He recoiled, teetering in his sandals. Then with a shocked gasp, he fell. Ow! Haru winced while massaging his back. Dazedly, he lifted his head, searching for the architect of his misfortune. Pedestrians had paused to examine him. The shame of being shown up in public like this stung, but they bothered Haru less than the man looming over him. Ah, geez, now I've gone and done it. How could I have been so careless? The man was taller than Haru, and he was far more muscular. He might have been imposing. He was burly enough for it, if it wasn't for the fact that he was rather handsome. Haru paid little attention to the faces of strangers he passed in the street, men or women. But this man's features were rather striking. Somehow, that made being looked down on by him all the more unpleasant. I really am sorry, ma'am. I do beg your pardon. I don't make a habit of bumping into pretty young ladies such as your good self, I swear. I wasn't looking where I was going, and I must have lost track of where I was. Not that that's any excuse, I suppose. Are you alright? Are you hurt? Chat, I'm struggling. It is really hard voicing men, okay? How many men voices do I know? One. And it's barely even considered a voice, let's be real. Can you stand? Ah, and here's your sandal. The man handed Haru his runaway sandal, which had fallen off his foot in the commotion. Haru accepted it, his fingers brushing against the man's with a muted word of thanks. He slid his sandal snugly onto his foot, then looked back at the man. The man was holding a hand out to him, his palm upturned, and his brow creased with concern. There now, that ought to be better. Do you think you can stand? Oh no, I'm... All right, Haru meant to say. But the man did not listen to him. He had already bent, one arm wounding around Haru's waist. There we go. That was quite the to-do, but I reckon everything ought to be in order now. Are you feeling alright, ma'am? You didn't drop anything, did you? No, I don't think so. Good. And you haven't hurt your ankle, have you? How are your legs holding up? They're both fine. Haru glanced at the man's large bronzed hand, which was still resting, rather suggestively, Haru thought, on his hip. You can stop touching me. People are staring. It isn't appropriate. Oh, yeah, silly me. The man drew back suddenly, an abashed smile playing about his lips. That's my mistake. I guess I got a little carried away there on account of you being such a looker. They're fine, but I'm a little weak in the knees, I think, lol. Chat, I think you just robbed us. Like, we stashed the jewelry in our obi, which is on our waist. He bumped into us as we left the shop. Made a big kerfuffle about being concerned for us. I think we just got robbed. I think he just robbed us. I think that wedding present is gone. That's my mistake. I guess I got a little carried away there on account of you being such a looker. I apologize if I've made you feel uncomfortable. I'd feel less comfortable if you would be on your way. You helped me, which I am grateful for, but there is no need for us to engage in any further discussion. My mother wouldn't like it if she would find out about this, and neither would my maid. Robbed us of our heart. Oh, Jackie, that's very sweet of you, but I think he quite literally stole items from our person. You're such a romantic, Jackie. Horny too, but a romantic as well. You know, it's a combo deal for you, isn't it? Oh, you have servants, do you? I guess I should have known. A well-dressed young lady such as yourself. You positively reek of money. You are amazing, Jackie. I'm not calling you out. It's just like... Yeah. You are amazing. But I think he did literally rob us. I think that wedding present is literally gone. We're gonna come home and realize there's nothing in our obi. It's not gonna be like there's gonna be nothing there. Yeah. Not that that's a bad thing, of course. Now I almost feel bad about touching you. I wouldn't want to sully you with my unworthy hands, young madam. Take care now and try not to bump into any other handsome strangers. They won't all be as amicable as I am. The man chuckled to himself as he walked away, waving to Haru over his shoulder. Haru watched him depart, frowning all the while. The man had been polite enough, if a bit too chatty, but his parting words rubbed Haru the wrong way. Why did he think he had any right to warn Haru against bumping into any handsome men? For one thing, there was something awfully arrogant about him calling himself handsome even if he was. And for another, Haru was sure that the man had bumped into him first. Yeah, that's the thing. Hadn't he been the one to initially apologize for not minding his step? The man's initial skittishness had faded away rather quickly. Perhaps too quickly. Suspicious. Had all of that been an act? Very weird. Very suspicious. Haru began to pat himself down, feeling suddenly self-conscious. He adjusted the neckline of his kimono, which was somewhat crooked, and counted the ornaments in his hair. Then he pressed his palms against his obi. He expected to find the package he had bought at the jeweler's shop stashed in there where he concealed it, but... Shit. I knew it! There was even a point where it was like he had his hand on his waist. Like for an overly long amount of time. Ugh. Like he had his hand on his waist for like an extended period of time, much more than is appropriate. Like, I knew it! Oh, he's gonna chase him down. Haru can't help it. He must chase him down. The earrings he had bought for Sakuraku were gone. The man must have stolen them. That bastard. Haru grit his teeth together. Then he began to sprint after the thief. I knew it! I love these two, they're fun. Harry's hair billowed behind him as he ran in a dark stream. Vaguely. He was reminded of a dream he'd experienced the night prior. He wasn't wholesome love, my heart, my trust. Oh, Jackie, I'll protect your heart. I'll protect your heart, don't worry, Jackie, I've got you. I'll shoulder all the pain for you. Harry hadn't remembered the dream upon waking, but something about the situation seemed familiar. Had he been running then too? Harry didn't think that he'd been chasing a thief through the daytime streets in his dream. But it had perhaps had been prophetic in a way. Harry had the feeling his dream had ended rather poorly. But he would not tarry here. He couldn't afford to. Harry was running so quickly he very nearly smacked into a gaggle of middle-aged women, servants presumably based on their attire. Though he was able to sidestep them just in time. One of the women, the eldest with her hair scraped back in an austere bun, scolded then called after Haru. "Watch where you're going, young lady! What in the world are you doing?" "Yes, that's right. What will your parents think if they could see you now? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Aren't you even going to apologize?" It was a reasonable enough query, but Harry didn't pause to respond to it. He still had to chase after the thief. Dire times, drastic measures. Harry thought he could see a distinctive flash of red in the distance, as bright as a camellia. Was that him? Harry sped up, desperate to pin the brigand down. He sidestepped another shopper, then rounded a corner. He glanced about, his eyes sharp, and then... Aha! He had finally caught up to his quarry. In his haste to escape the scene of the crime, the thief had fled down a side street, one which terminated in a wooden fence which circled the garden of a nearby tea house. The side street was a dead end. There was nowhere for the thief to go. "All right, you bastard, now I've got you. Let's see you try and worm your way out of this." Harry took another step towards the thief, then another. Will you play nicely and hand connected for like a second, and I was like, are we safe? Do I need to restart stream? Oh. Yes, OBS had a little hiccup, but it appears we're back. Hello, everybody. Love it when OBS do that. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I'm back. It was like half a second, but it was still really annoying, as you can imagine, I'm sure. Thank you for the stretchies. Ooh. Oh, and the hydrate, yay. Thank you. Oh. Rather than displaying any particular sign of contrition, the thief simply smiled. Ah, jeez. You must like me an awful lot, huh? Okay, that's funny. I like that. I didn't think you'd chase after me. I'm starting to feel like a war hero. You don't have a thing for me, do you, pretty miss? Don't delude yourself. That only makes you look more pathetic than you already do. What? Do you think I'm pathetic, little miss? Oh, he's mad. Look at his sulky face. He's sulking. You make a living by taking advantage of others, so yes, I would say that classifies you as being pathetic. Now give me back my earrings. What earrings? I don't know what you're talking about. Like hell you don't. Now, that ain't a nice thing for a lady to come out with. Especially one as pretty as yourself. You'll ruin your good looks. Hasn't your mother ever taught you to mind your manners? I could say the same thing about yours. You want to know about my mother, huh? The thief smiled languorously, one hand resting on his hip. Sorry, pretty lady, but I don't know if I know you well enough to start sharing all my family secrets. You've got to butter me up a little first. Like, say, with a kiss? Fuck off. I love Haru. Harry's fun. Phew! What did I just tell you, pretty miss? You're spoiling your appeal. You might look like a young madam, but you've quite the filthy mouth on you. And you look like a washed-up, no-good, petty-minded crook. Which is quite fitting, really, because it's exactly what you are. Now, the earrings. Give them here. Sorry, but no can do. I can't exactly give you back something I don't have. Why don't we put this unpleasant business behind us? Stand aside. That way things won't have to get nasty. I am a gentleman, no matter what you might think of me. The thief, who claimed he was not a thief, cracked his knuckles together. And I really don't want to have to hurt a young woman. Well, that's fortunate for you then, isn't it? You won't have to worry about hurting a young woman. Not when this young woman will hurt you first. Ah, pretty art time! Oh my god, he has a knife? Oh my god! Harry's awesome! I love this guy! I love this guy, guys! I'm his biggest fan! Oh my god! He's cool as hell! Oh! Harry reached into inside his obi as he spoke, where he had concealed a knife! A short, sharp paring knife which Sakura could typically use to peel apples. Harry never went outdoors without at least some means of protecting himself. The paring knife was a constant companion during his trips outside, though nobody save Haru knew of this. Oh no, did stream restart? Wait, what am I saying? That was OBS. What the girl, get it together. If Michiko had been aware that her son went outdoors with a weapon tucked inside his obi, she would have been beside herself with anger. It was because Michiko insisted that Haru dress as a woman that he felt compelled to arm himself in the first place, however. Haru wasn't foolish enough to let anybody take advantage of him, especially not a vagrant who liked the sound of his own voice a little too much. Well, I'll be. Oh, you've actually shocked him. Good job, girlie. Boy. Guy. You sure are one hell of a woman. I can't say I was expecting that. And I can't say I was expecting to have to use it. So I suppose that makes us even. Now will you do the decent thing and give me back the earrings on your own? Or will I have to slice you open first? Is that a promise? Oh, he likes it. He's a big fan of Haru. He's known this woman, quote-unquote woman, he doesn't know. He's known this quote-unquote woman for, couple minutes. And he's enamored, I bet. He's like, wow, this lady's pretty fucking awesome. It's a threat. This knife is plenty sharp. It's mostly used for fruit, but I'm sure it can cut through human flesh just as easily. I've also heard in some parts of the world, they cut the hands of thieves once they're caught. I think that would be a perfect punishment for you, don't you think? Holy. You sure ain't messing around, are you? I've never once messed around in my life. I'm not the type. I can see that. I guess there really ain't any getting through to you. I can't say this is how I expected my day to go, but... Alright. Oh, he's sulking again. Get wrecked, loser. I was prepared to let this go, but you're really forcing my hand here. Sorry, young miss. I hope this don't hurt too badly. The thief reached for his belt, from which he extricated a pair of knives. Oh, good! Everyone has knives. Good! Excellent! That's great! More knives! These knives were sharp, dangerous-looking objects, obviously intended to cause pain. The thief rounded on Haru, but Haru was too quick for him. Rather than running from the thief's advances, Haru instead rushed forwards to meet him. He shifted sharply to the right to avoid a glancing blow from the thief's knife. Then, without any further preamble, Haru slammed his foot against the thieves. Ow! What the hell? The thief gasped in pain. He mustn't have been expecting Haru to rush at him, a fact Haru used to his advantage. He slammed his fist against the thief's left hand, knocking one of his blades from it. Congrats on the getting first, Jackie. God, it's been a fucking mess today. Oh, congrats. Yeah, good job, babe. The blade arced through the air, then hit the ground where it bounced. It skidded. Then it slowed to a halt, stilling in tandem with a dull thud which echoed throughout the alleyway. Haru then shifted his right leg upwards, driving his knee into the man's crotch. Oh! Finally, the thief staggered back. This was the opportunity Haru had been waiting for. Another well-timed blow to the thief's stomach was enough to fell him. Oh! Look at that grin on that guy's face. He's loving this. He's a big fan of woman beat him up. He's a big fan of woman beat him up good. The thief fell back, hitting the ground gracelessly. His remaining knife, which he had clutched in his right hand, fell from his grasp, and Haru kicked it away. His foe disabled, and with minimal effort on Haru's part, Haru knelt down. He spread his legs, pinning his foe in place, and sat astride him, his right hand pinning the blade of his trusty knife to the man's exposed throat. Well, shit. You ain't gonna find it in your heart of hearts, are you, to let me go? What, after I went through all the effort of pinning you down? Haru scoffed. Not likely. Yeah, I figured as much. But I just wanted to make sure. Looks like there ain't any getting out of this one. Or is there? You can always try and escape, but I wouldn't recommend it. Hey, Evie! Hi! This guy tried to steal, has stolen. Right, like literally he bumped into us all flirty style. Hi, how you doing, babe? I hope you're having a good day. Guys, it's Eve. Did you know it's Eve? Did you know that it's Eve? Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I'm alright, how are you? I'm pretty good. We've had a stream crash, so I'm gonna have to edit the VODs together. But like, it's been a pretty great day. This game's been fun. So this is a boy's love. That is a guy. His mother dresses him up as a woman because her brain is funny like that. And he went out for shopping with the servant, and he was going to buy. He bought some earrings. He is very pretty. You're right. Yes, he wears it well. 100%. And this thief bumps into him right outside the shop. Makes a big show of catching him and all that stuff and being like, oh, how could I bump into you? Oh, we should watch ourselves better. And then he pats where he stored the jewelry and it's gone. So he chased him down and beat the fucker up. And the thief is kind of loving it. He's kind of like, wow, pretty person beating me up. I was kind of digging this vibe. Look at that smirk on his face. He loves it. You probably don't need me to tell you this, but you aren't really in a position to refuse my orders. No kidding. I thought I'd done pretty well for myself today when I got my hands on those earrings of yours. They would have fetched me a fair bit of money. Oh no, pickpocket backs you for love. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they'll get to know each other. I can just tell that these two are the main couple. This is 100% it. What a meet cute, you know? I figured I wouldn't have to worry about food for at least a fortnight. Fortnite mention? I don't even play Fortnite. What am I doing? But I guess I've got bigger worries on my hands right now. I would say so, yes. I don't know your circumstances, but food ought to be the last of your concerns. It is rather hard to eat, or so I have heard, with a severed throat. I'll bet. The thief laughed wryly, then sighed. Fine, you win. I stashed the earrings in my belt before I bolted. Do you reckon you can get them, or should I? I can get them. I don't trust you. A wise decision, really. The thief chuckled as Haru adjusted himself. He kept the blade of his knife pressed to the thief's throat, then used his left hand to search for the stolen earrings. Oh, in his belt? That's kind of close to other areas. He dipped his fingers down, grazing them against the thief's exposed chest. Oh, whoa. Hi. Was it just his imagination, or did the thief inhale? Oh, he's definitely enjoying it, Haru baby. He's loving this. Then found his belt. He slipped his fingers beneath the folds of fabric which wound about his stomach, then searched. As he searched, Haru was aware that his actions would have seemed rather improper to any outside observers. He was quite literally straddling another man in broad daylight with one hand inside his belt. It didn't help that the thief gasped during Haru's search in a decidedly salacious manner. One which must have been deliberate. They're terrible. This is the time where I tell you that there's an 18 plus patch off for the game on itch.io. Don't to touch me there. I'm sensitive. Like hell you are. You think I ain't? I have a pretty woman lying on top of me, rummaging around inside my clothes. It wouldn't be too out of the ordinary if I got excited, would it? You get excited when you have a knife pressed against your throat? Haru rolled his eyes. Well, I suppose it takes all sorts. I'm a man of unusual tastes. I can tell. Now shut up, stop distracting me. Otherwise my hand might slip. Which one, eh? Not the one beneath your belt. But I wouldn't be opposed to castrating you. I'd probably be doing everybody a favour. Haru continued to search, his fingers scrambling, until he found what he was looking for. At a glance, the earrings looked to be unscuffed despite the events of the day, something Haru was grateful for. If he was to give these earrings to Sakurako, then he wanted them to be perfect. Haru stashed the earrings in his own obi, one-handedly, and coolly he said, "Thank you very much. It was a pleasure doing business with you." Is that how you want to describe it? Well, I thought that might be easier on your ego than calling you a loser. How considerate. I guess you really are a young lady at heart. The irony of this remark was not lost on Haru, and he almost smiled. Now then. Thank you for the heat pet, Slecko. Hello. How are you? Are you going to redeem, You're going to... He scares me, chat. He scares me. I see Slacko walk into my chat and I go, oh god, what's he gonna do? He plots and schemes, you know. Haru stepped back, having finished with the thief. Would I do something like that to you? Yes, you would! Shut up. You would 100%. Shut your fucking face right now. He stashed the knife away. His blade was clean and unsullied and rose to his feet. I suppose I'll be going now. If I never see you again, it won't be a moment too soon. Eh? The thief stood up, feigning upset as he did. You having a fun time reading about your lesbians, I assume? Not this time, they're boys. It's yaoi this time, Slacko. It's not always lesbians. I'm not a one-trick pony. Ah! Ah! He did it. He did the thing. He did the thing. Random book line. Okay, here we go. I need to find a book. Okay, this book is accessible, so I grab it again. I'm good at this. Oh, no. No. Hang on, this is a better one. The knife carves gently and cleanly through arteries and nerves. It takes a lot of effort, but I'm able to break her bones. She howls and howls, and I feel oddly mesmerized. After a moment, I'm just enjoying myself. I'm not scared anymore. I'm not gagging anymore. I'm good at this, and I'm focused. Fluids by Maylees. To be fair, I thought about it and I talked myself out of it. Because it'd been mean this close to the start and then you taunted me. Fun fact, Slyko, it is in fact not this close to the start. We had 2 swing clashes. Mods, can you kill that guy? Mods, can you kill that guy? I'm giving you a gun. You can do it. Mods, violence. Kill him. Kill him, I have you for a reason. Thank you. Thank you. You feel less bad? I knew it. We're taking a mini break because a piece of nail fell off one of my fingernails and now I need to file it or I'll lose my mind. How are we doing, chat? Are we enjoying the yaoi? Are we enjoying the horny scene of... Oh my god, my camera! Oh. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my camera fell. You'd think I would learn of how to set my camera up and I would just keep it there forever and then I wouldn't adjust it and so it wouldn't get loose. And it would be fine. But no. Felt that in your no nails, Dan. Yeah. Yeah, I have to file this or it will catch on everything and it'll make me so angry. Are you enjoying the yaoi, everyone? Did the crash kill anyone's spirits? Are we coping with the crash? It wasn't a very long crash. It was only for like half a minute, maybe. Is this good now? Whenever I'm filing my nails, they never feel like good when they're done. Like, I hate it. It's such a sensory bad time to file a nail. Makes me so ick. So it's gross. But I think it's good enough. The thief stood up, feigning upset as he did. Don't you want to get to know me a little better, young miss? No, but it feels like you want to get to know her a lot better. Not particularly. Well, now, that ain't very nice. It ain't in good form, you know, to spread your legs for a guy before you've gotten acquainted. I'm sure your mother didn't raise you to be that easy. My mother did not raise me to engage in discussions with vagrants either. You won't even tell me the name of the pretty young woman who bested me, will you? I fail to see why I should. You lost that little jewel, remember? You have no right to demand anything of me. Huh. Well, I guess you have a point there. I'll give you my name, though, in case you want it. You put up quite the fight, so I think you deserve it. My name's Kishou. Here's hoping our paths cross again someday. Let's hope they don't, for your sake. If I see you again, I shan't go lightly on you. Ooh, how fierce. I'm getting chills. That indignation on your pretty face is to die for. Though maybe I should count myself lucky I didn't die back there. The way you held that knife against my throat was no joke. For a woman, you have some serious balls. You're way stronger than you look. Why, thank you. You're a lot weaker than you look. Oh, my lady, you wound me. Oh, my lady, you wound me. Kishou's words rang in Haru's ears, but Haru didn't deign to reply. There was nothing else he wanted to say. He was relieved that he had managed to put that unpleasant business behind him. But he couldn't deny that pursuing kishou had been oddly enjoyable. It had been more interesting at least than sitting indoors struggling over the shamisen. Haru? What is it? Haru and his mother were sitting at the dinner table, both of them kneeling primly. It had been several hours since Haru had returned from the marketplace alongside a tutting and fussing Shachio, and the sun had already set. The living room was illuminated by ephemeral light from the brazier in the corner, which crackled and popped at irregular intervals. Shadows played ominously about Michiko's austere face, so she looked even sterner than usual. Haru hadn't seen his mother after returning from his trip to the marketplace. She must have been busy ordering the servants about. It was her only job, and she excelled at it. Haru would rather his mother discipline the servants over him, but she looked more imposing than usual that evening. She cast her eagle eyes over her son, who had been picking at his food half-heartedly, then addressed him. I believe there is something we ought to discuss. Haru had known that this was coming the moment he had sat down with his mother at the dinner table, but he still groaned. Do we have to have a discussion? I'm not in the mood. I do not care whether you're in the mood or not. That is irrelevant. I'm your mother, and as long as you live beneath my roof, you ought to show me some respect. Now, Sachio told me you got into some trouble earlier. Ugh. Of course Sachio told you that. Why wouldn't she? That old busybody can't keep her mouth shut. Haru! I did not bring you up to speak like that. You will not speak of Sachio so rudely. Not when she has served our family for so many years. Now, what do you have to say for yourself? Haru looked down at his food mutely. He didn't have any particular words to spare for Sachio, but he knew that his mother would not let the matter drop. She never did. I am very sorry, Mother, for being so churlish. It was uncouth of me. I had a tiring day, that is all, and I am feeling rather weary. I hope you can forgive me. You oughtn't to be apologizing to me, but to Sachio. But very well. Now, what did happen when you went shopping earlier? Haru picked at his food. His appetite was non-existent despite the rigorous workout he'd endured earlier that day, perhaps because of his mother's gaze. He looked away. Then coolly he said, I don't know what Sachio told you, but nothing in particular happened. Everything was fine. It did not sound it, not based on Sachio's testimony. She said you had been embroiled in some sort of brawl. Would you care to elaborate on that? Well... Haru set his chopsticks to one side. He hadn't been hungry before, but he was even less so now, as he weighed up his options. How much could he tell his mother without alarming her? The answer to this query, of course, was very little. It is a bit of a long story, but there was an altercation. An altercation? Hi, Sakurako! Hi! Hi! Sakurako, who had been in the midst of pouring Michio a cup of green tea, stared at Haru with wide-eyed attention. That sounds exciting! Or, that sounds alarming! What happened? Are you alright? I'm alright, at least. I can't say the same for the other man, though. What other man? Sachio didn't tell me anything about a man. That's because I didn't mention it. I didn't want to worry her. You know what she's like. I thought the shock would be bad for her heart, and there wasn't much to mention anyway. I'm just fine, as you can see. I'll be the judge of that, young man. Now what happened to you? Who was this man, and what did he do to you? He tried to rob me, if you must know. You were robbed? He tried to rob me, like I said. He wasn't successful. He bumped into me when I was walking through the street, and he pocketed some of my things in the confusion. I noticed soon enough, however, and I tracked him down. I gave him a stern talking to, and held a knife to his throat. And he gave me back my possessions in the end. We didn't come to blows, and neither of us were hurt, and before you ask, we didn't make a scene. This happened down a side alleyway. There wasn't anybody else around. An alleyway? The disdain on Michiko's face was almost palpable. I cannot say I condone that. You oughtn't to be following strange men down alleyways, Haru. If people saw you, they would talk. It isn't very ladylike, I know. I was hardly about to let him get away, though, no matter how unladylike of me it would have been. You can't seriously think I should have let him steal from me, do you? Well, no. I understand why you acted the way you did, though this does sound rather unfortunate. I suppose it is a relief that you were able to retrieve what was stolen and that you did not come to any harm. Things could have been worse. I just hope that you didn't do anything untoward. If I did, it was only in response to his actions. I was provoked. A thief, huh? A thief, huh? Sakurako frowned. He wasn't a redhead, was he? He was, yes. But how did you know that? Well, I just had a thought. I saw a man loitering outside the house earlier when I was sweeping in the entrance hall. Oh no, he's found where we live. Oh, he's enamored with our bitchy ways. I don't like judging people, but he looked pretty suspicious. He kept pacing up and down and he was glancing around like he was looking for somebody. The clothes he was wearing, too. They weren't very respectable. He didn't look like he belonged in our neighbourhood. He didn't have bare arms, did he? And a bare... Haru, knowing his mother wouldn't approve such terms being bandied about the dining table, chose not to ask this question obliquely. Interested. Instead, he gestured towards his own chest, which was concealed beneath several layers of thick, intricately patterned fabric. Michiko caught the meaning behind Haru's query, of course, and tutted. Really now, Haru. There are some things that oughtn't to be discussed while we're eating. I thought I raised you better than that. Sakurako's eyes lit up at Haru's line of inquiry, however, and she nodded. Yes, that's right. He was showing off an awful lot of skin. I know the weather's been rather warm lately, but I thought it seemed a bit excessive. He didn't look at all like a gentleman. He had so much of his chest on display I couldn't help but stare. He was actually quite handsome. Sakurako, mind your tongue. Now is not the time to speak of a man's naked flesh. Oh, I'm very sorry, ma'am. I forgot myself for a few moments. Please forgive me. Humph. It isn't me who ought to be asking for forgiveness, really. I wonder how your fiancé would react if he knew of all you've told me. It doesn't bode well for the future of your marriage, I must say, if your eyes have already begun to wander. Girl, shut the fuck up. What? Oh no! This has nothing to do with Hideyoshi. I was only staring because he had so much skin exposed. I think anybody would stare really at a man like that. Even you, madame. If that isn't going too far. You've gone far enough, yes. And here I was, silly me, thinking that you were a sensible young woman. I thought that you were a soothing influence on my Haru, but now I have to wonder whether you're not encouraging him with all of his silliness. Sakurako has never, to be fair, talked to me about half-naked men before. This is a relatively new development. Well, let's put a stop to this while we can. All of this talk has rather put me off my food. Oh, I'm sorry, madame. Please forgive me. I just thought I'd mention it, that's all, because it was so unusual. That man was acting very oddly, and I'm not just talking about the way he was dressed. He made me feel uncomfortable. You didn't go outside, did you, to speak to him? I did eventually, when 10 minutes or so had passed and he was still hanging about outdoors. I wanted to know what he's after, so I thought I'd confront him. I asked him what his deal was, and he said... Yes? What did he say? Well, he said that he'd come to the young lady of the family, and he asked whether he might be allowed inside. Did he now? He did, yeah. He said he bumped into you in the marketplace earlier, that you dropped something. Apparently he spent the afternoon trying to track you down so he could give it back. That's what he told me, at least. Goodness me. Michiko shot Haru a nasty glare. It would appear you caused quite the disturbance today, Haru, if your attention actions made this ne'er-do-well take an interest in you. Maybe I did, but it wasn't by choice. He was the one who robbed me. Yes, well, if you did not stand out so much, perhaps he would have passed you by. And perhaps, Harry wanted to retort, if you didn't insist that I dress like this, he wouldn't have felt compelled to try and steal from a weak, feeble woman to begin with. Harry did not say this, however. He knew there was no point. His mother would not appreciate it, logical though his remarks were. Unchallenged, Michiko looked back at Sakurako and addressed her sharply. I hope you had enough sense to chivvy this young man along. I've no hospitality to spare for common riffraff like that, especially not if they're thieves. Well, of course I chivvied him along, madame. What do you take me for? I told them there was no way my young mistress rather, would want to talk to him, and I told him we would do well to hurry along. You can rest easy, madame. I've never let a person like that in the house. I could smell a rat the moment I saw him, and it looks like my suspicions were right on the money. Some people are so shameless. Imagine coming back here after he already tries to play you for a fool, young master. Somebody ought to teach him a lesson. Harry did not tell Sakurako, as he brought his rice to his mouth, that he had taught Kishou a lesson, or at least that he had tried to. Harry had thought that having a knife held to his throat would have dissuaded Kishou from making a further nuisance out of himself. But evidently not. Oh no, that attracts a certain class of people, my dear man. Why had he spent that afternoon searching for Haru? For what reason had he approached their house? Haru had a bad feeling about it. Did he mean to break in later that night, when they were all in bed? Perhaps this was his attempt to get revenge for what had transpired earlier. Kishou was unprincipled enough that Harry wouldn't put it past him. What a pain. Haru finished eating, excused himself, and rose from the table. Then with swift, purposeful strides, he headed for the entryway. He slid back the front door, which parted with a scraping of wood against wood, then looked about. The street outside was dark, lit only by the glow of the moon. The breeze was cool and it disturbed Haru's hair, the sleeves of his kimono. Haru squinted, his eyes narrowed, as he searched for the mysterious man Sakurako had spoken of. He half expected to see the man from the corner of his eye, hidden behind the ginkgo trees which lined the road. But it was not to be. He couldn't detect even the slightest signs of activity. Perhaps the stranger Sakurako had seen, whoever he was, had already left. Haru hoped that this was the case, but the sense of foreboding he had in the pit of his stomach did not dissipate. Not even when he slid the front door shut. The stranger might not have been brazen enough to loiter about the front of the Arashima house indefinitely. But what about the back? Haru's trepidation continued to build within him as he turned. He walked down the hallway, his sandals striking against the wood, and returned to the dining room. Michiko had already finished eating, and the dirty plates and dishes had been cleared away. The dining room was empty and silent alongside it. It was so very quiet, Haru had to wonder whether he was being paranoid. His meeting with Kishou earlier must have impacted him more greatly than he had thought. Haru had crossed across the dining room and slid open the screen door which permitted entry to the garden. Then he stepped outdoors. The garden, just like the dining room, was quiet, save for the size of the wind. Everything was as it should have been. That was what Haru thought, at least. Until he saw a flurry of movement from the corner of his eye. There was a figure in the garden. A figure which was taller than Haru and decidedly more muscular. His shirt was sleeveless even on a chill night such as this one, and exposed a truly outrageous amount of skin. Haru recognized him at once, despite the shadows which undulated about his face, half obscuring him. Kishou? Ooh, so you remember my name, do you? That saves me the effort of having to reintroduce myself. Well, of course I remember you. You made quite the first impression. It wasn't a particularly good one, though. I suppose that's fair. I can't have done much to make myself too popular, not when I put you through so much trouble. Sorry about that, by the by, young miss. I hope you didn't get hurt too much in our tussle. Please. I'm the one who should be saying that to you. You scarcely had a chance to counterattack before I had you on the floor. Now, how long have you been skulking around here like a stray cat? And what, for that matter, are you doing here? Your beauty cat baited me so much I just wanted to see you again, of course. Is that a good enough excuse? For goodness sake. Haru sighed.
Ah, thank you for the stretches, potato. Ugh. When did that happen? A minute ago? Ugh. Ugh. Oh, I felt my back move. That's good.
Haru sighed. He could feel his temper, which was a limited resource at the best of times, threatening to run out. You must think me simple-minded if you imagine a cheap pickup line like that will sway me. Ain't it enough to get your heart beating fast, young lady? Hardly. I like Haru. If I was playing this back when I was on Tumblr, a wee 13-year-old Priscilla, I would have kinned Haru. Haru I would be kinning Haru so bad. Does anyone know what kinning was? Am I talking to the wrong crowd right now? Please tell me someone knows what I mean when I say kinning. Oh. Now I'll ask you again. What are you doing here? This is my house and you are trespassing. If you don't have a good answer, then I'll break your arm. Well, I'll be. I already knew you were a fiery one, but you're acting even more pissed than before. Which is saying something since you had a knife to my throat last time. It's good to see you again too, Kaharu. So you know my name. Of course I do.
It'd be rude after all.
Barging into a lady's home, or sorry, her garden. Without knowing at least that much, right? I never invited you here though. And I never gave you my name either. You didn't know? That caused me a bit of a problem if I'm being honest. It was hard to track you down when I didn't know what you went by. But it seems like you're something of a celebrity around these parts. I hadn't noticed. Then you must be less perceptive than I thought. It didn't take long before I got one of the shopkeepers to spill all they knew about the pretty young miss with the long dark hair. The only daughter of one Mrs. Adashima. He said you're a well-bred, blue-blooded young lady, and I'll be damned if he wasn't right. I could smell money on you when I saw you on the street, but this... Kishou scans the sprawling expanse of the Adashima's family's garden approvingly. It's beyond even my wildest imagination. Your folks must be loaded. It is impolite to discuss such matters, especially with strangers. I would not want to seem as though I am boasting. Heh, so now you act like a lady, huh? How funny. It would have been nice if you'd extend some of that courtesy to me earlier in the day. Still, it's a nice place you've got here, Miss Kaharu. You must be very proud of it. Miss Adashima, you mean? Excuse me? We aren't anywhere near close enough for you to use my given name. Miss Adashima is fine for the likes of you. But even that might be too good for you. Alright, I get the idea. I'm sorry for taking your good name in vain, Miss Adashima, and sullying it in my unworthy mouth. Is that good enough for you? No, not particularly. You still haven't told me what you're doing here, though I can fathom a guess. You came here because you mean to get revenge, don't you? Bingo! I can see you ain't just a pretty face, Miss Koha. Sorry, I mean Miss Adashima. Damn, your name's a mouthful. You're pretty smart, too. Thank you. It is unfortunate that I cannot say the same about you. You don't think I'm smart? Not particularly. It stands to reason that you would want to avenge yourself after I humiliated you so thoroughly. A wiser man would keep their distance after being beaten like you were. But I suppose you've yet to learn your lesson. It is rather foolish, though, that you would confront me head-on, knowing how things went the last time. If you mean to rob me, you would have done better to wait until I was asleep than slit my throat. Oh, come now. Do you think I'd do something like that? I don't know what you would do, but I know that I don't trust you. How cold! I'm nowhere near as cutthroat as you are. I have a hearty appreciation of the finer things in life, and hurting a pretty young thing like you would be a waste.
He's so funny.
He's terrible, but he's funny. I ain't gonna deprive the world of a fair maiden like you, not to satiate my so-called lust for revenge. It wouldn't be worth it. Well then, you've just made things even easier for me. You might not want to fight me, but I've no such compunctions against slicing you open like a pig. Alright, let's not get ahead of ourselves now, little miss. I like a bit of rough play just as much as the next man, but you can take things too far. You are the one who is taking things too far. You broke into my home. Into your garden, you mean? And you'd be mistaken, you know, and assuming I've come here to rob you. Isn't that what you're after? Not necessarily. If I did want to rob you like you said, I would have done better to wait until you were asleep. I didn't wait until then, though, because that would defeat the purpose of my visit. The purpose being, I came here, believe it or not, because I want to talk to you. Oh my god, my camera's moving again. Here we go. As I was saying, as I gasped, as I was going to say, he's trying to woo her. Man is in wooing mode, he is courting. What could you possibly want to talk to me about? Now, that's a complicated question. And it has a pretty complicated answer too. You gave me quite the shock, you see, when we had our little tussle in the street. It got me thinking that you ain't like any woman I've met before, Miss Arashima. Your blows were all very decisive. It really did feel like you meant to kill me. For a woman, you put on quite the impressive show. It was so impressive, in fact. Kishou took a step forwards. Oh, whoa, Cabadon? The classic, the Cabadon. Let's go. Then, quick as a flash, he pinned Haru against the wall. It's enough to make a man wonder. What? Haru tried to wrench his wrists free. He was like, there's no way. Oh, he's curious. He's like, I gotta know this person. This is crazy. Haru tried to wrench his wrists free from Kishou's grasp, but it was no good. Kishou was stronger than he was, and he was much more muscular. Haru might have been able to beast him once before in the alleyway, but that must have been a one-off. Kishou hadn't been taking him seriously, not back then. It was different now. Haru inhaled deeply, attempting to gather his cool. He wasn't sure how to extricate himself from the situation, but he knew going to pieces would not help. Once he had calmed himself, he then surveyed Kishou coldly. I thought you said you didn't like to get violent with ladies. Are you really willing to set your principles aside? Well, here's the thing. Kishou leant in, his grip on Haru's wrists tightening. After seeing what you're capable of, it really made me wonder. Are you sure you're a woman at all? He figured it out! Haru gasped despite himself, his eyes widening. He hadn't wanted to show any signs of surprise, but this question asked so suddenly caught him off guard. He hadn't expected it. Kishou, divining the truth behind Haru's non-answer, smirked. Should I take that as a yes, then? Attack it however the hell you want. You should take your hands off me first, though. You don't want me to smash your teeth in, do you? Not particularly. I don't think you're in much position to do that right now, though. You might have gotten the better of me earlier, young master. But I ain't gonna let that happen again. I'm wise to your little tricks now. There's no way in hell I'm gonna let you overpower me. Not with those twiggy arms of yours. You bastard. Yeah, I've heard that all before. You can say whatever the hell you want to me, but you ain't about to hurt my feelings. I'm not that delicate. You, however, are remarkably slender. If I'd not been going easy on you earlier, you never would have been able to pin me. That's why it took me so long, you see, to figure out the truth. Your build ain't at all like a guy's, but the way you use it. Kishou's smirk grew more unpleasant still. Wasn't very feminine, though I did have some doubts. I thought I might have been jumping to conclusions. But these worries have all cleared up now. You've been real cooperative during all of this. It's appreciated. Go fuck yourself. Can't right now, I'm a little preoccupied. And the only one who's fucked right now is you. It'd be a pretty big scandal, young master, if this got out. If other people heard about this, your well-respected family wouldn't be half so well-respected anymore. You'd not be able to show your face outdoors ever again. You're already famous, Miss Adashima. Or should I say, Mr. Adashima. I doubt you want to receive more attention than you are already. It would make your life incredibly difficult, and your poor mother's alongside it. What would she say, do you think, if your secret became public knowledge? How would she endure the disgrace? Maybe she'd disown you. Now that's quite an interesting idea, wouldn't you say? Haru grit his teeth together, his eyes ablaze, as Kishou continued to dig his nails into his wrists. The pressure Kishou was applying to him was painful, but the bleak future Kishou was painting for him was even more so. Haru glowered at Kishou, his temper flaring, and retorted acidly. The only interesting idea I'd like to entertain is the thought of jamming my fingers into your eye sockets. Oh, come on. That's not a very nice thing to say to me, young master. What would compel you to make such vicious threats? I'm only trying to look out for you here. Look out for me, my ass. You're threatening me, you bastard. Now let go of me. Haru tried to knee Kishou in the crotch, too angry to worry about the consequences, but Kishou was too quick for him. Kishou, preempting this, pressed his foot down against Haru's, effectively locking his leg in place. Now. We'll have an... Oh, my fucking camera! I'm gonna kill this! I'm gonna kill it! 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 Hi, I'm emotionally balanced. Ooh. Hi. I'm emotionally balanced, I swear. Now. We'll have enough of that, young master. Let's try to behave ourselves, shall we? Just like winking at us? Sure! That's definitely what's happening. I know it might be a little bit heated, but it won't do you any good to kick up a fuss. I'm not going to let you twist away from me that easily. Hey, Omni! Welcome! And even if you did get away, it wouldn't do you much good. I already know the truth about you. You've as good as confirmed it. You don't really want me to tell everybody about this, do you? Well, what the fuck do you think? I'll take that as a no. Kishou snickered. Goodness me, you're making such a production out of this, young master, when it really needn't be so difficult. Has nobody ever taught you about negotiating? I know something you want to keep a secret, and you have something I want. This being the case, I think we should be able to work out a trade. What do you say to giving me... How does this much sound? Kishou rattled off a monetary value so obscene it made Haru gawp. You're being serious? Oh, is that too much? Is your dignity not worth that amount? My dignity is priceless, you meanwhile are scum. You don't deserve to get even a penny from me. Yes, you have said. But I also know that you want to keep this a secret. I really have no desire to make life difficult for you. That was such a blatant lie, Haru was tempted to laugh in his face. So I'm prepared to barter. How about this? Kishou presented Haru with another figure, one which was by no means small, but marginally more reasonable than the first. Do you think you could find it in your heart of hearts to prepare this much for me, either in money or material goods? You do that like a good boy, and I might think about keeping what I know to myself. Just maybe. You asshole. Haru spat in Kishou's face, knowing Kishou would be incapable of blocking it. He took this globule of spit to the cheek. Haru grit his teeth together. He'd meant to catch Kishou in the eye, without blinking. Maybe he'd expected it. Heh! Well, I guess I deserve that, huh? You deserve much, much more than that. If you're going to threaten me like this, you have to promise to keep your end of the bargain. You can't go telling anybody about this. I fucking mean it. If you do that, I'll rip your head off your goddamn shoulders. How charming. Your poor mother would be most aggrieved if she heard that, I'm sure. But I won't go tattling on you. I know that you're under a lot of stress right now. So, Kishou smiled, a sickly sweet saccharine smile which made Haru's stomach churn. If I let you go, will you promise to behave? If you make any attempts to hurt me, I'll call the deal off and then I'll go blabbing. Does that sound fair? You wouldn't know the meaning of fair if it bit you in the ass, you ingrate. Haru scowled. He didn't want to come to any sort of agreement with the thief, and neither did he want to agree to act like a good boy. The thought was humiliating. If he could, he would have pushed Kishou off him, then assaulted him. Tch. But Kishou was stronger than he was, and he probably still had those knives tucked away somewhere in his clothes. Haru could try to fight him off, but he didn't fancy his chances. Without the element of surprise on his side, it seemed fairly grimly inevitable that Kishou would overpower him. Haru stood there for a few moments mutely, weighing up his options, when a panicked scream split the silence, a scream loud enough to make Haru's eardrums ring. Haru started, as did Kishou, the thief whipping his head upwards with obvious alarm. What the hell was that? Haru could tell the voice was coming from inside the house. It was muffled by the screen door and distorted with terror, but he recognized it regardless. It was Sakurako. Fuck. Kishou's grip on Haru had slackened from the shock, and Haru was able to push him away with ease. Kishou staggered backwards, surprised and almost toppled, though he was able to maintain his balance just in time. Wide-eyed, he stared at Haru, who had already made a beeline for the house. Hey, where do you think you're going? What about our deal? What about it? I have more pressing matters to worry about right now. Haru seized the handle of the sliding door and yanked it. The door opened with a swish and Haru stepped inside, his sandals thudding against the tatami mats. Haru looked about, his eyes wide, searching for the source of that earlier scream. Ah! And it didn't take him very long to locate it. Sakurako was slumped on the ground, one hand pressed against his side. No! Who stabbed her? Who did it? Fess up right now. It won't change how cruel your punishment is, but you have to tell me now so I can kill you. Her wedding was coming in October. No. Her brow was furrowed with obvious pain and her forehead glistened with sweat. Sakurako's fingers were splayed, and between them, Haru could see dark crimson seeping through the fabric of her kimono. No! No, Sakurako, no! She was bleeding. Shit! Yeah! Haru scarcely had the time to register what was going on before Sakurako's assailant was upon him. It darted out of the shadows, its eyes flashing wickedly. Who the fuck is it? Is it Hideyoshi? Oh no! This is a supernatural story, okay. I didn't know that! I didn't know this was supernatural storytelling. Okay, I thought this was just historical. But it's also supernatural, okay. Oh, he is a interesting creature to be sure. What a thing. The creature's eyes were bright red, just like the blood which oozed from Sakurako's wound. It didn't look like any animal Haru knew. It was an abomination. When the creature roared, the whole house seemed to shake. Haru was scarcely able to deflect a blow from it as the monster struck at him. Alarmed, Haru took a step back. What is this thing? I don't know. I heard it yowling outside, so I went to shoo it away. I thought it was just a stray dog, but then... Fuck. Oh my god, we get to see Haru with his knife again. Let's go. Haru knife moments. Ignore the scenario we are currently in. Haru knife moments. Haru jumped back as nimbly as he was able, then swung the blade of his knife in an arc. Though he managed to catch the monster in the face with the blade of his knife, it didn't seem to deal any significant damage. The monster looked unscathed. He hadn't even managed to perforate its skin. Its hide must have been tough, and it didn't help that its reflexes were so fast. Would he really be able to take it down? Haru was uncertain, but he knew he had to try. Kishou, this is your perfect time to, show up and help. Hey, you're still in the garden, right? Did you fucking scarp her? Hello? The creature had hurt Sakurako. He could never forgive it for that. Alright, you monster. Give it your best shot. I'm not about to go down without a fight. Haru, no! You can't fight that thing, it's too strong. You should just run away. What, and leave you to bleed out on the floor? Sorry, Sakurako, but that's not an option. But Haru! Haru! Sakurako's entreaty was cut off by a surprised gasp. Michiko had entered the dining room. Oh, I'm burping. I got the burpees. Oh dear. Sachio tottering along behind her. Sakurako! Sachio took one look at Sakurako's collapsed body and hurried over to her as quickly as she could. Sakurako, are you alright? How deep is your wound? Sounds about to faint, are you? Stay with me! Michiko, meanwhile, had little time to spare for the bleeding Sakurako. Her attention was focused wholly on Haru. Step away from that beast this instant! Don't try and fight it. You'll never be able to defeat it. Haru knew that his mother spoke true, but he could not obey her. Not this time. What would happen if he let the monster go free? He would finish Sakurako off. Then it would sink its claws into Sachio, and Michiko would soon follow suit. As the man of the household, in his father's absence, Haru couldn't let that happen. I'm sorry, Mother, but I can't listen to your orders. I'm the only one who can fight this monster, and that's just what I'm going to do. But this is a fool's errand. Nobody can kill that creature. It isn't of this world. We should be running from it instead. We can't run. We'll never be able to outspeed it in any way. Sakurako is injured. I'm not going to leave her here. Haru shifted to the left, trying to throw off the monster's balance and thrust his knife forward. He meant to catch the monster in the throat, but he misjudged the monster's speed. The monster had already twisted about in the blinking of an eye, and then... Haru, look out! The monster struck. It slashed out with one of its paws, its claws glinting. Haru stepped back as fast as he was able, but he wasn't fast enough. The monster's claws still scraped him, and he hissed. Damn it! The wound he had sustained during this skirmish was superficial, but the pain which resulted from it was still intense. Ugh. Warm, wet blood soon began to seep from Haru's wound. He was surprised that his mother hadn't scolded him already for getting his kimono dirty. Not even Michiko, however, was that obsessed with appearances. She looked rather more concerned about her son. Haru, are you alright? Haru! I'm, alright. It's just a scratch. I'm sure I'll live. If nothing else, I can still fight. Haru dashed forwards, gripping the handle of his knife tightly, and lunged at the monster. A metallic sound ran through the air of metal on teeth as the monster shrank back. Haru had managed to repel its attack this time, but he hadn't dealt the monster any damage. It wasn't even reeling. Were his blows really that weak? Haru had practiced kendo in the past, but using a kendo sword was different to wielding a knife. Furthermore, Haru had only ever sparred with imaginary partners before. His skirmish with Kishou in the alleyway didn't count. That had barely been a fight, not when Haru had been able to overpower the other man so quickly. Speaking of Kishou, what the hell is going on here? Man. Yeah, what the hell is going on, Kishou? Where'd this guy come from? What the fuck is that thing? Oh, it's you! Who? Who are you and what are you doing in my house? Well, about that... That's a pretty long story. It'd take a while to tell, and I don't know if I really have the time. That... whatever it is... doesn't look very friendly. Do you need a helping hand, young master? And why would you want to do that? You've done nothing but make a nuisance of yourself ever since I met you. I know, we ain't exactly friends. But I'm hardly gonna let you get killed off here. You're my prey, not this beast's. Oh, well? I didn't come all the way to have you killed before I can extort you properly, damn it. Wow. How altruistic of you. I know, I'm a regular Bodavishta. Bodishtiva?
Bodhisattva. How do I say that? Hang on, we're doing it again. It's Priscilla's looking up words hour. Bodhisattva. Blah blah. Bodhisattva. Okay. Bodhisattva. Got it wrong immediately when I tried to say it in the word.
Oh, it's a hard chat. Now, give me a piece of that thing. I'll send it flying. Well, if you think you can. Harry deflected another blow from the monster, his sleeves fluttering, and stepped back. He's all yours. Heh, how nice of you. It's good to know you ain't possessive. Let's see here. Here goes nothing. The monster staggered back, letting loose from its throat a guttural, ungodly sound which shook the house to its very rafters. Kishou showed the monster no sympathy, however, even as it writhed. His blades flashed like lightning as once again he struck. He levelled one blow to the side of the monster's head, then another to the neck. His blade sliced clean through the monster's throat where it bled out. The fuck? Or at least it should have. The monster, however, was tenacious to an unnatural degree and it did not bleed. Huh? Most things bleed. Most things. Black, smoky tendrils emerged from the monster's severed neck, knitting its body back together. Was there truly no way to best it? What the fuck is this thing? I've been wondering that myself. I don't know if it matters all that much, though. Killing it's more important than discerning its true nature. Well, I know that. That's what I was trying to do. Kishou gasped, winded, as the newly recovered monster dashed at him. Kishou was able to fend it off, but the force of the monster's blow knocked one of the knives from his hands. The knife arced through the air, then hit the floor, embedding itself point down in the tatami. Sachio, who had been standing a hair's breadth away from the knife, gasped, then fainted. Kishou was too focused on the monster, however, to pay the old woman much heed. I ain't got any qualms with putting this overgrown puppy down, but how the hell am I supposed to do that? None of my attacks are hurting it. Maybe we both need to strike it together. Let me... Haru closed in on the monster from the right, while Kishou took the left. Together they flanked it, their blades flashing. Once again the monster howled as both men worked in tandem to shred it to bit ribbons. Sinew snapped and flesh was sliced. But despite their best efforts, the monster didn't go down. The beast roared, more out of anger than pain, and reared back, Kishou's knife still embedded in its throat. Then it struck. Haru was able to step back just in time, but he felt the air pressure shifting in front of his face. Had the monster's flailing ploy struck him, it would have pulverized his head. The monster might not have bled, but Haru certainly did. It would have destroyed him. Shit, this ain't good. Nothing we're doing's working. How are we supposed to kill this thing? If I knew that, I wouldn't have done this. I would have done that already. Haru hadn't taken any further beating from the monster, but he could feel his energy failing him. Haru's upper arm was still aching. Haru did not think his wound a deep one, but he feared he had lost a significant amount of blood. His head was beginning to swim. The foul stench in the air was unbearable. But Haru knew he had to bear it. He had too many people he wanted to protect. Too many people he couldn't afford to disappoint. He couldn't let this monster best him. Fucking hell! Kishou swore as the monster assailed him. He drew another knife from his belt and stuck it in the monster's throat. He pushed the knife upwards until its blade pierced his foe's mouth. This did nothing, however, to slow the beast down. The creature's claws swung down hard, which once again forced Kishou to dodge. I had never seen anything like this before. Did you do something to piss it off? Not that I can recall. I think it's just like this. Just like that, eh? Yeah, you and it might have a lot in common. But this thing's way uglier than you are, of course. Well, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. Haru stepped forwards, meaning to deal the monster another meaningless blow when... Stand down, Haru. I can take care of this. Just leave everything to me. Who the fuck is this? Who is this? Mysterious man is right. Who are you? Where did you come from? What? Yeah, me too. Haru gasped as he felt pressure against his arm. He was pushed aside away from the red-eyed monster before he had a chance to fully register what was happening. There was a flapping of fabric of long sleeves fluttering. Haru heard a scraping sound and a whoosh. The interloper, whoever they were, had drawn a sword from the scabbard affixed to their belt. Haru saw the silvery blade of the sword arc through the air. The blow was aimed at the monster, which had caused so much chaos. But the monster was able to avoid this blow. The man who had come to Haru's defense, meanwhile, tutted. What a pain. I don't remember these creatures being this nimble. Unless I've become older? Well then, if that won't work. The man adjusted his grip on his sword, his fingers curled about it lightly. Then, how about this? The blade of his sword drew another arc through the air, and this time it cut true. The blade cleaved through the monster's head, striking it from its neck. The monster's body, which was dark and shadowy, swayed. It pitched to one side. Then it fell. Its limp, lifeless carcass never did hit the tatami floor, however. It didn't have the chance. The monster's body had begun to break apart like sea foam. It dissolved into nothingness, scattered on the air until it disappeared. In the wake of the monster's defeat, silence fell upon the ruined dining room. For several moments, nobody spoke. Silence reigned until... Phew! The tall, broad-shouldered man exhaled. He sheathed his sword. Then with a wry chuckle he said, That could have gone better. It's embarrassing it took me more than one strike to best that creature. But I suppose I'm no longer as athletic as I used to be. I spent all that time training, and yet... The man smiled bitterly and shook his head. Well, no matter. There's no sense in dwelling on my failures. How have you been, Haru? I hope you've been holding up well. What? And with that amazing cliffhanger, we will end today. That's been a wild ride. Absolutely crazy ride. Let's see who we can attack. Uwu. Violence on the people. Let's see, let's see. Oh, Gatwin's live. He's playing RV Car that. RV There Yet. That one. The one where you were in RV. And it's funny. Because you're doing a road trip. Oh, he's in a boy swip. Boy swip! Let's go. Okay, let's attack Adrian. Thank you for joining me today, chat. I will be streaming again on Friday? It's Friday, right? I swear it must be Friday. It's Friday or Saturday. I know these things, I swear. I swear I know things. Yes, Friday at 6 PM EST, I will be playing Monster Prom Road Trip with Aki, Hashikawa, Tushi Bean, and Tempe Baby. Please do join us if you can. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye!